Hi, my name is Liliana Brown, and I have started the Resilient Now podcast so we can help people. There's so many people who are going through things in life and they don't have resources. They just think there's no solution. And it's important to me to have something out there that's free for people that they can log into and hear somebody who's gone through that and is on the other side. And you can hear that speaker 10 times, 5 times, it doesn't really matter. Um, so that's why my computer's going crazy. So that's why I created this to help people. And you can be from any walk of life and, anywhere. Everybody goes through things. It doesn't matter where you come from or where you are in life. I wanted to, well, I'm in Los Angeles. So I left Los Angeles 2.5 years ago and I moved to Miami. And um, I left because it was a really good opportunity for me with work. So I did that and I bought a place in Miami and my life is in Miami now. But I lived here for almost 30 something years in LA. A lot of things happened in LA that were wonderful. My son was born here. I got married here. I got divorced here. I wanted to talk about divorce a little bit. Divorce is hard. I was married 7 years. I dated my ex-husband about a year and a half. Then we got engaged for a couple of years. So it was a long courtship. And then we got married, and then we had a son. About I guess like 3 or 4 years after we got married. And he was a great guy. Like my ex-husband is a wonderful father. He's remarried. He has a wife, and she's great. We're a good team for my son. My son's in his last year of college. But I wanted to talk about the divorce because that was really hard. It was kind of my idea to do the divorce. We grew apart. After being together for 7 years, we really wanted different things. And what attracted us in the beginning to each other wasn't working anymore. And, I did get therapy, I did get counseling, and I just knew that I couldn't be honest in this, and be who I was supposed to be and grow into the woman I was supposed to grow to and stay in this marriage. And it had nothing to do with him. He was not a bad person, not a bad husband, not a bad father. He's actually a really good person with great morals and standards. It was me. I just couldn't be in the marriage, and I kind of like lost myself, and I couldn't be what he wanted me to be. And same for me, like he couldn't be what I wanted him to be. And we just, for me, it was better to just, go, leave the marriage. So that's what I did. And it was hard. I remember, I think we got divorced pretty quickly, 6 months. It happened pretty fast. And I went and I got an apartment with my son. And it was weird to get an apartment. My son just wanted to go back to his house. He was with me half the time. And I cried every night. That first year, even though it was my idea, I cried every single night. I didn't date for a year and a half. I have these crushes occasionally, but I've never really met anybody. I think when you have a high standard and you had a good husband, my ex-husband was very smart and kind. It's kind of hard to go below that. So my first 17 years of being divorced, it was really about my son, like just raising him. And I got divorced in 2008, and then now my son's starting his last year of college. So when I first got divorced, I bought a place in Century City in LA, and I remember calling my ex-husband. He's like, "You bought a place without telling me," because he was out of town. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a divorce. I have to do this stuff by myself." And he had done our taxes for 7 years. He had done everything. Like I had to do this home for my son and myself. I had to get up in the morning because I was at work at 6:30 or 6 in the morning. So I had to get up and I had to get help people to come and stay with my son and take him to school. And I got out of work at 3, so that was good. So I can pick him up and be the mom that takes all the kids to soccer and everything, soccer practice. So that was good. But it was hard. There was times where I had a difficult childhood, and sometimes I'm like, maybe my son should stick with his dad full time, because I feel like I won't be a good mom to him. That half he's with me. Um, and that would have, and I talked to one of my mentors, are like, absolutely not. That can never happen. You need to be there with your son always, and I was just thinking about my son. So I had all these things came on my brain. It was a really hard time. But I had these women who I could call and get support. And I remember one day I was talking to them and my son was acting out while I was on the phone. you know, my mentor said to me, well, just because he's yelling and screaming and he's acting like he's 12, because he is, you can't act that way. You have to act better than you feel. And so that's what I did. You know, I would act better than I felt. And I just try to be of service to my son and go to the soccer games. And I had like a job, and I also had a second job. I was teaching a little bit of Pilates on the side. So that was good for my head when I didn't have him. So I try to keep myself busy. I might at some point do a dating thing, but my dating, my picker's always been, it was not very good after all that. Like I dated a little bit and it wasn't anything. And I just feel like when I'm ready for the right man, God will send him, and he hasn't, because I guess I haven't been ready. And so for me, when I'm sitting around thinking, well, why, you know, I have the job, I have my son doing great, why don't I have the guy? I'm like, because I'm not ready. God wants me to do other things. And that's kind of how I run my life. I don't sit around thinking, oh, I mean, I do for a minute. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for a minute, I feel a little sorry for myself, and I'm like, no, you have to do a gratitude list. You have to be grateful. You have a lot going on that you should be really grateful about. So, divorce, you know, I think leaning into your girlfriends, having balance. You know, you have the girlfriends you go do your nails with. You have the girlfriends who are on Facebook who might, you know, give you some sort of encouragement, like sentence or something. You have the girlfriends you just, you know, go to the movies with or travel with. Like, I think it's important to also have women, you know, in your life. And it's important to be there for other women. That got me through. I met a friend of mine. She's one of my dearest friends. She was going through a separation, and I got to be of service to her. And then she came to my house one day and she saw my son's room. She's like, oh, we're fixing this room. And she's like sweeping it and everything. So just being there for other women and supporting women. And, you know, when I go to work, just really be at work and not be thinking about like even my son or whatever, just, you know, not doing that. Just being wherever they say, wherever your butt is, that's what your head should be. That's what somebody taught me. So, you know, you do divorce one day at a time. It's hard. You're going to get upset. You know, you're going to be sad. And then, because nobody gets married to get divorced, that's not why people do that. Um, but it happens. And, you know, and I don't know if I'm ever going to meet a great guy again. I don't know if that's going to happen, because it's none of my business. That's in the future. And I know I have a really strong connection with God and my higher power. And when I'm supposed to meet him, he'll come. And if he's not coming, that's okay too. I have a beautiful life, and I need to remember that. And anytime you're thinking too much about yourself, do service. Like, go to an old folks home, you know, and help somebody there, or, you know, go read to kids at the library. Like, I don't know, go call your aunt and take her some food. Or, you know, I remember when people, you know, have babies or things like that, we always like do like there's like a meal train. Like, we help people, you know. I have a little group that I'm part of. I have several groups I'm part of. Never put your eggs in one basket. Never make one of your friends, this is, I'm not really telling you what to do, but this is what I do. Nobody can do it all for you. Like, not everybody can be everything. So for me, it's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Also, physical fitness. I worked out a lot. I got a Pilates license, whatever certification. Just staying active mentally, you know, physically, it really helps the emotions. So this is my divorce podcast. You know, my gratitude is that I know how to live one day at a time, just one day at a time. I can't do the future, and I certainly can't drink water 5 minutes ago. So I can definitely not be in the past. Unless I'm, you know, there's a reason to go back there, I really try not to. But I wanted to put this out there because I know there are people going through a divorce. So just stay resilient, stay in today. The next indicated thing is what helped me. And try to have balance. Like, you know, ask your higher power to give you balance so you can have a, you know, a good day, a good week, you know. But it starts with just this moment, because this is all we have. We don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. We don't need to know, because if we did, it's not good for us. So it's better to stay in the moment. It doesn't mean we can't have a planner and put things on a planner, appointments and things like that, but just really staying in the moment. And even if you feel bad, like, stay in the feelings. Like, let the feelings stay. Like, for me, when I overeat or overshop or whatever, it's because I'm trying to avoid those feelings. And those feelings will pass. They're just feelings, you know. And you take an action, sometimes those feelings change. You know, go to the gym or watch a, you know, a comedy, or listen to a good podcast or some great music. Those are all tools that have helped me so much. And call somebody and ask them how they are and get out of your head. That's the kind of stuff I had to do. So I'm grateful for the life I have. And that's all I got. I hope this video could help you. this podcast. And um, remember that the best is yet to come, just one day at a time. Just, hang in there if you're going through a divorce or anything hard. You can get through this. Being resilient now is very important, right here, right now. So go make it a great day. Okay. Bye. Until the next podcast. See you soon. Bye bye.